Jacob, talk to us about Informatica data privacy.
Oh, thank you, Tim. So data privacy is obviously one of the growth areas within our portfolio of technology that we're taking to the global market. When you think about privacy, a lot of people don't think about the actual data itself, right? They think about the environment, the network, the detail, the security, that sort of detail. Yeah. But the data itself needs a certain level of privacy as well. You've got regulatory features like GDPR and that sort of detail. You've got PII information. Yeah. How do you protect that? Do you know what your exposure is? How much of this valuable data that you need to protect in particular ways is sitting inside your enterprise? Yeah. And in what form?
So this brings on like challenges like masking, for example, where certain people within an organization might be able to see full data sets, but others might not be able to see those personally identifiable bits of data, so they get masked.
Absolutely, and this really is now what data privacy is all about. It's understanding the context of that data field and data that's in there in relation to the consumer or the person who's actually looking at that data. Okay. Have they got the rights and the roles and the privileges to look at that? If they can, then obviously it can be shown to them. If not, then let's mask it. And if it's then absolutely not allowed, then they don't even see it at all, right? So it is about being able to create that level of understanding, but also from a organisational perspective, a lot of people today in their enterprise have little understanding about how much the data has proliferated inside their environment. Right. The advent of the ability to download data and stick it on your local machine, stick it on a shared drive. Suddenly now the context of the application that would be governing that is now being removed. Yeah. So you now actually have to have the ability to apply that governance, apply that security regime, and protect that data.
Would you say it's a fair enough comment to say that what comes first with getting to grips with an organisation's data is to cataloguing that data? Is that a fair comment?
Yes. Yeah. So Tim, I think that is a fair comment. I'd go the step before catalogue is the discovery. Yeah. Right. The first step is do that discovery, be able to scan your enterprise and see what's there, profile it, and then from that profiling, then bring it up into a catalogue. Right. Right. And then in that catalogue, that's where you can then look at what is it, who is it, what curation do I need to do on it, and that sort of detail.
But workflow.
A lot we're finding in the market at the moment, a lot of people are just jumping in, going, I'll just catalogue it, which is great, and we've got the catalogue of catalogues. There's a lot of great catalogues out there, but the ability to actually do that first scan, bring it in and understand it, and that's all driven by metadata, and then have that metadata help you understand and profile that detail, and then from that you can then branch into the quality aspect, which obviously curation, but also then the whole data movement and data pipeline management and ingest into other areas within your business. But it is but central to that going forward is definitely the catalogue.
Yeah, because what I'm seeing with a lot of our customers is they've got spreadsheets, and yes, at a point in time they know where all their data is, but that's pretty much invalid tomorrow, and that's the nature of spreadsheets. As a data recording or as a data collaboration method, as soon as they're created, they're out of date.
It is
indeed. And there's no next step. There's they're a static snapshot of an organisation's data. Yeah. They're not providing that sort of mechanism to improve the interaction of the data between different systems, to improve the security of the data, and to actually take actionable steps to improve the quality of the data.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's a loss of control, right? Yeah. It's the biggest challenge. I mean, I personally quite joke, one of my jokes is, what's the world's largest ERP application? It's Excel, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Because that's nearly where all the data lives. Yeah. And that is a risk. That is a huge risk for organisations. And the role of the Chief Information Security Officer now is really starting to rise in the fact that they're now looking at that and going, hang on, the CFO understands his assets and his book of business and the detail.
Yeah.
Well, the chief risk officer also needs to understand the assets, and that asset is the data.
Yeah.
And if that got out, or lost, or hacked in any way, what's your exposure, right? So being able to understand that risk profile in respect to regulation and detail is important.
Yeah.
But then touching back to what you were saying, Tim, as well, is understanding how fragmented your enterprise is.
Sure.
And where is these islands of disconnected or unconnected data live.
Yeah.
So I can get control of it and understand it, and then eventually bring those users and consumers back to the source.
Yeah.
Back to where they should be doing. Because why have they done it? Why have they done the extraction? Because it hasn't been easy for them to get it, they haven't trusted it, and these are all the mechanisms. So you've then got to address that in the life cycle of data within the organisation.
Really simple example, a couple of years ago I got a call from a CIO, our chief marketing officer has fired out Christmas cards to a 5-year-old customer list. Where was that customer list stored? Yes, it was stored in Excel, and he's just gone and grabbed it with all the best of intentions. But the damage that caused, because many of those customers weren't customers anymore, and there was a lot of negative feedback. So it's a classic case in point. It's a simple example, but it's a very real example of, I thought that was the current list. That's the
what I've been using for years.
That's what I've been using for years. Hey, guess what? It's wrong.
That's
and
right.
The whole positive impact of your marketing exercise, Mr. CMO, has just been lost.
And the damage and that loss of trust is instant, and it can take a long time to rebuild that, because today the whole consumer environment, the commercial environment are very much up to speed on their rights. I give you my data, but I have a right to be forgotten. I have a right for you to only keep that for the purpose that it is. And if I opt out, that you respect that opt out and all that sort of detail. And as soon as data escapes, you've lost control of it. Right. And so, it is a critical thing. And it's little things like that a lot of organisations have been doing for years. And now they have to rein it in.
Yeah, so on the one side, we deal with this environment which is increasingly more governed, increasingly has much higher compliance requirements. But on the other side of this picture is that are those hidden jewels, that hidden value within our data, which can help us market more effectively, or just do our business, improve our business processes because we know what the data outputs are. Is that a fair way of describing the current climate that people face with this big thing, this big 4-letter word called data?
No, the current climate is just exponential growth at the moment with the amount of data that's being consumed and being generated. And it's no longer just in the applications. There's data being generated by machines. There's data being generated by consumers in social media and sentiment and that sort of detail. So being able to bring that together and get the holistic view of it, who your customer is, is very, very powerful. Lighting up that data so you can get insights, so you can actually make decisions, is what most organisations are trying to achieve. What's holding them back is trust. The people within their organisation look at that data set and they go, I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it's been curated. I don't know what's being done to it. I don't know how old it is. Therefore, I won't trust it. What do? I'll click this button. I'll download this little bit of data, and I'll make that my own. And then I'll do all my decision making on that. And if you have 5 people doing that across the organisation, you're going to get 5 different strategies, 5 different decisions based on supposedly the same data.
So just going back to that exponential data explosion that you referred to. Claire, C-L-A-I-R-E, correct?
Yes.
So there's an AI in the middle.
There's an AI in the middle. It's our marketing people.
So there's an algorithm in the middle, right? Okay. So what does that algorithm do?
So Claire is built into our platform. So it powers all of our solution solutions that are available in the market.
Yep.
You know, the AI stands for artificial intelligence, so it's the AI ML componentry to it. It's all metadata driven.
Yeah.
And you know, it provides insights and guidance and recommendations to consumers of the data within the enterprise that are using it. So it also will learn over time. You know, from
You've
the
got to train it.
utilisation. You've got to train it, like all AI ML engines. You know,
Yeah.
it's about what goes into it, and that makes it powerful.
Sure.
But you know, that's very much part of what we help, and you know, through partners like yourselves, we help create that quality of information to feed those engines.
Yeah, I mean the way I see this, and we see this across our business, across our solutions. This exponential increase in data every day. It's getting bigger. It's going up. You know, it's not going backwards.
No.
So we need modern thinking. Well, that's a big word, but we need modern tools to help us address this explosion of data. And you know, and yeah, there's often a bit of pain involved early on in implementation in getting the rules right. About the operation of these tools. And yes, as you say, there's training involved before perhaps value starts being delivered. But without making that investment in these tools, it's a pretty painful task. You're up against it.
Your pipeline's going to be fragmented. It's going to be leaking. It's not going to be clear at the other end. And this is the challenge that's faced a lot of organisations. And that growth is not going to change. And that it is the unstructured or the semi-structured data that's exploding. Yeah. Right. And the movement of data between applications, and also, you know, the fact that cloud first, cloud native is the natural place. That's where everybody's going. That's what drives our business. It drives you know, the economics of the world. You know, and it's about throughput and speed. I mean, our
and scalability.
And scalability. Our cloud platform, which you know, you guys are you know, are key partners for. You know, it currently, I think I looked at a stat just 3 months ago. We were doing 15 trillion, you know, data transactions a month.
Right.
It's now close to 19. Right. So
in just a couple of months.
Yeah. So the volume of what's going through, and this is moving data from on-prem to cloud, multi-cloud. So all your different hyperscalers, you know, Microsoft, AWS, Google Cloud, you know, Snowflake, you name it. The organisations today really do have an embracing a multi-cloud strategy, which means they go, well, you know what, I'm going to move some workload off to Microsoft, going to move some workload off to AWS because I can throw it there. I can give my data scientists a playpen. You know, I can have my analysts do some market analysis here. I can take information across my different areas to get a holistic view of my customers and put it over there. You know, and it's that flexibility, that agility, and that scale up, scale down capability that is why I think the whole cloud adoption is accelerating.
Yeah, and the agility too, the ability to very quickly, you know, deploy a new environment. I know that we're finding with the Informatica IICS product that, you know, our time to delivery is massively ramped up. We're not waiting for IT departments to provision, you know, in the old model, we need some of your data center space, or, you know, it's on-prem. Get us another 5 servers, will you please, so we can run up the solution. None of that anymore.
No,
it's all very agile, very responsive. And I mean, it certainly is a changing world. So increasingly across the Informatica product range, you are delivering, it's on your roadmap to deliver all of these solutions through
absolutely.
a cloud platform.
Absolutely. I mean, so our whole strategy as an organisation is cloud first, cloud native. And you know, you'll see in the Gartner quadrants that you know, cover the areas in which we provide solutioning. That, you know, all the technology is being moved and delivered through the cloud platform.
And that's becoming a major Gartner requirement nowadays.
It is. And it's being driven by demand. Right? The customers need it, because what you've just described, Tim, is key. Right? The days of, you know, filling out a form and then saying, okay, I need 20 servers, I need, you know, X terabytes of data in this data center, and that'll take 6 months. the business needs to be moving in hours and days,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
months and years.
Yeah.
So the flexibility to take what you need when you need it and do something with it, and the engine that's being powered, the fuel for it is the data,
Yeah.
right? And that is at the essence of everything that we do.
Yeah.